I tracked every single dollar that I spent or saved this month in September of 2025, so let's go through the details and see how I did following my budget. My name is Kayla, and on this YouTube channel, I post all things personal finance related, debt payoff related, side hustles, budgeting tips and tricks, and all of those things. So if that interests you, you should definitely subscribe to my channel. And welcome. Today we are going to do a recap of my September budgeting plan and see what I spent this month. So if you're curious about budgeting, I'm going to be sharing screenshots of my actual budgeting template with you, who I bought from Mackenzie Mack, which is one of my favorite personal finance creators on social media. And so I do have a link to her budgeting template if you want to get it for yourself, if you like watching it in this video. So first we're going to start with income, how much I made in September. And for my full-time job, I am a full-time employee. I made $3,902.47, and that is all after taxes and putting money into my 401k, which gets taken out of my paycheck automatically. I also made roughly about $800 in side hustles this month, and if you want a deeper video on that, please let me know and I will go into a breakdown of what money I made and where. But for now, we're just gonna round that into my total income for the month, which comes out to be about $4,700, which, hey, is not a bad number to start with. Can't complain about that. So now going into my actual budgeting plan for September. So what I really like about Mackenzie's spreadsheet is that it is broken down into different expenses, debt payoffs, sinking funds, which we can go into later, investments and long-term savings, and even a space for checking fund. And so for my expenses this month, they were a little higher than normal because unfortunately I did have a really high spend month in August, which I think is just due to it being the summer because I had a couple of trips and a lot of travel and things like that. And to kind of make up for that, I had to add more money into my budget for September for my expenses to kind of like offset those from August, if that makes sense. Like I spent too much in August, so I kind of had to pay myself back in a way in September. So my expenses are higher than normal here. So it looks like my total for expenses for September that I planned to spend was $3,539.93, which I know is a lot. That is a lot of the income that I made. So again, we are going to work on that in the final quarter of the year. But like I said, I had to kind of pay myself back from overspending in the month of August. So in October, this should go down by a lot. I also don't know why, but for my student loans for this month, the payment went down. I guess I changed it on accident or something. And so I did put a little bit less towards my student loans than I normally do each month. But because of that, instead of going back and fixing it, I just decided to add an extra payment to my car loan because that is the lowest loan that I have right now. And I'm trying to pay off my car loan debt by the end of this calendar year. So in my debt section, I planned for $648.81 towards my debt. For sinking funds, this was another big one because again, due to summer and kind of getting back into the fall, I feel like I did have a higher spend here. Like a couple things came up with people's birthdays, and so I had to spend in my gift sinking fund, some travel. I was booking some Airbnbs for later in the fall. And so my total that I saved towards sinking funds for the month of September is $829.66. My next two categories are the worst for September. They were so much better earlier in the year, but like I said, we had to adapt, we had to adjust. This is not what every single month looks like. I only invested $50 post-tax this month, which is really, really low. And I really need to get that up if I want to get my bread up. But we had to do what we had to do. We had to put things towards other things this month. And so I also did not make any long-term savings this month, which kind of sucks, but it is what it is. So as you can see, my total planned comes out to about $5,000. So we're a couple $100 over in budget already, which I usually don't leave that way, but I really wanted to make that extra $200 car payment. And so I kind of am pulling that money out of my checking fund, which is just leftover money in your checking fund so that you're not constantly using your paycheck till it's zero. That is where that money came from. So now another thing I really like about Mackenzie's budgeting template is we can go into the September dashboard to see exactly how I did everywhere, which is really great, and kind of a breakdown and some charts and things like that for the month. So this is really exciting. So let's take a look at that. So my planned income was around $4,800 and my actual income ended up being around $4,500. So a little bit less. I a little bit overestimated my side hustles, but I will make a few dollars back at the end of the month through my high yield savings account interest. So that does go in my September bucket. And then we kind of keep track of all of our categories and how much is remaining in the budget. So as you can see here, I still have some leftover money in my grocery budget, which is really nice because that'll roll into my October budget. So my grocery budget for October will go down because I underspent this month, which is really great. Happy to see that. Yeah, then we get to look at this fun little chart that is really depressing me because my goal, how I like things to look and to follow my financial goals, I really try to get my expenses to be about 50% of my take home for the month. And so as you can see, it's at 62% here, which again, kind of makes sense with the summer kind of winding down and things like that. My sinking fund was really big this month. So that was 20% of my take home pay. My investment was only 1.2%, which is really not good. And my debt is 16%, which is not too bad, but I definitely want to get that higher because I really want to be debt free. And that is one of my financial goals. And I'm just sick and tired of all this debt. So we're going to fix that. Mackenzie also added a cute bar chart to say, did I stick to the plan, which is really nice. And so I kind of stayed under my expenses planned, which is good. Paid the debt amount correctly, sinking funds, long-term saving, investment, and my checking funds, which is really cool. So as far as expenses, I think my biggest surprise from this month is how much I spent on subscriptions. I will have to do a deeper dive into that because my subscriptions seem to vary each month, and I don't know why that is because I thought I decreased a lot of my subscriptions and unsubscribed to things, but it seems like I'm still paying a pretty high amount monthly on subscriptions. Granted, they are not things like Netflix. I don't pay for Netflix. They're things that are like Google Drive space and Apple storage and all of that nonsense. So it's really hard to keep track of. Another surprising amount that I spent this month was under household items. I usually don't spend any money in this category and was thinking about getting rid of it for next year when I redo my budget plan for 2026. But I really got excited this month about working on my outdoor space. And so I've been working on my like outdoor balcony to try and turn it into a catio situation for my cats. And so I spent $124 on, what are they even called? They're like the IKEA things that you like, they're like patio squares or something, tile. They're like kind of like tile, but for outside. And I totally splurged on them. And I need to check myself for that because it doesn't even cover my entire balcony situation. So I really need to reevaluate that. And definitely my best budgeting category was groceries, as I already said, because we underspent on groceries. And I think that's because me and my partner have been really trying to capitalize on deals at the grocery store and only going out to buy a grocery item if we really need it. So we do end up going out for groceries way more often than the normal person, like 3 to 4 times a week. Maybe we get groceries, but it's because we like literally wait until we run out of things. And then we'll run and get like the couple of things that we need rather than doing a huge grocery shop and then a bunch of the food doesn't get eaten and goes to waste. So yeah, we are doing better in that category, which is really nice. Thanks so much for watching this video. If you're also on a budgeting or personal finance journey, I'd love for you to follow along and hit subscribe on this channel because I plan on posting a lot more videos like these every single week. So I'm really excited about that. Definitely let me know in the comments, what's one area of your budget that you're trying to improve for next month? And if you want to buy the budgeting template I use, like I said, it's from the creator Mackenzie Mack. I love her. I've been following her for a really long time. I've been using this budgeting plan for almost a year and it's really good. And I do have affiliate links to her budgeting plans in my Stan store. So I will get a small commission if you do decide to purchase it through me, but that would be really appreciated. So if you are interested in this budgeting plan, then click on it either here or down below, wherever I can put the link. So yeah, hope to see you in the next video and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.